Question 3c. In order to rationalize these terms here, we will consider the conjugate of the denominator. In this case here, I suppose the conjugate is negative square root of 2 plus 1. And I'm going to multiply these conjugates here, top and bottoms, to the terms we have here. And before we go on further, in some situation you will happen to find out that we do have some people that do the calculations, the rationalizations, by using square root of 2 minus 1. It's also acceptable, where the idea of conjugates for the case of rationalizations here is not so emphasized. It's just an idea that it helps us to do rationalizations. So let us go on. So we notice that this is the thing that, let's say I keep with this one, negative square root of 2 plus 1, as the one that I'm going to use for rationalizations. In order to make us more convenient in calculations, let us do some adjustment on both of the denominator and its corresponding conjugate in such that instead of having square root of 2 plus 1, let me rearrange in such way that the denominator from square root of 2 plus 1, I adjust to 1 plus square root of 2. The same go for the arrangement of the conjugates. It will be 1 minus square root of 2. The purpose that we happens to do such arrangement so that you can see that when the time we do the multiplications of conjugate, you can happens have the idea using this formula. Clearer and more effective. So next, once we do such multiplications by right, you find out that you have the result. If I keep in a single fraction terms, the initial arrangement will happens to be 2 square root of 3, square root of 2 plus 3, multiply with bracket 1 minus square root of 2, divide by the denominator will be 1 plus square root of 2 and 1 minus square root of 2. Then from here, we will go on further for our expansions by the idea we know from multiplications. But what I usually do for multiplications again, I will consider the first bracket break into two parts as I highlighted in yellow and also green. Then the second part, the second bracket will happen to be the full brackets terms. So as a result, after I break in this way, my expansion will happen in such that I make use of the one that I highlighted in green, multiply with the second bracket which is highlighted in blue. So I will start to have square root of 2 multiplied with 1, it gives me square root of 2. Square root of 2 multiplied negative square root of 2, it gives me negative bracket square of square root of 2. Then the one highlighted in yellow 3 multiplied with the one in blue, it gives me 3 minus 3 square root of 2. Whereas at the denominator, this is happen to be the multiplications of the conjugate pair. If you happen to compare with the formula right in brown on top, the value of 1 as if like our m, so the result of the multiplication, it will give us m squared, which is 1 squared in this case here. The corresponding n, you will find out that it is happens to be square root of 2 by comparison. So we're going to take square root of 2, square it. So as a result, m squared, it will give us 1 square, n squared, it will give us square root of 2 square. And go on. So this will happen to be the result after we expand. Again, the step it happened to be present in red here is that for you to understand how the result is obtained. It may not be compulsory step in the future. Then what happened from here, type in red? What happened in the coming step? It will happen to be simplify become. So square root of 2 cannot be simplified, so it just maintain. The square of square root of 2 will turn become 2 plus 3 maintain. negative 3 square root of 2, maintain. So basically, the difference between them is the square part is being simplified. Then at the bottom, we have the answer. This happened to be, according to arrangement, it should be 1 minus 2 lah. It should be 1 minus 2, where the square of 1 is 1, the square of 2 is 2, and between them is minus. And as a result, we further simplify the terms that we have on the numerators. And how we're going to do the simplification is that we simplify between the rational number and the surd respectively. So simplify the integers, it gives us minus 2 plus 3, it gives us positive 1. Square root of 2 minus 3 square root of 2, it gives us 2 square root of 2. The denominator, I have the answer of negative 1. And as a result, I simplify the division of negative 1. What will we have from the question? This one here, I highlighting in green. It will give us the following result. It is equals to negative 1 plus square root of 2. So this is the answer for example number 3 for surd.